Hello everyone, this is the great Roberto coming at you in live action. So pissed. I was just sitting here talking to the camera for like 5 minutes or whatever it was, and I forgot to push record. So I'm sitting here monologuing, and I'm like, all of a sudden the camera turns off. I'm like, what? And I realized I didn't turn it on. I didn't push record, so it just turned off. Damn it. Brilliant, brilliant. I gave away the secrets of the universe. No, but seriously, okay, this is an update to my 6-gram psilocybin death trip that I just made yesterday. Now, if you watch that video, you would think, oh my god, this guy just had the worst trip ever, or he had a bad trip, or whatever. And I don't call it a bad trip. It was just so insane, it was so crazy that it's beyond words. I mean, it's just such, it's more than your mind was meant to be able to handle. You know what I mean? And it's just beyond all of that. So, but it wasn't a bad trip. It was just so crazy. You know, 24 hours ago, I would have been just coming out of it. I would have been just coherent enough to be able to function on a level, you know, to where I was just coming back to a place where I wouldn't have dematerialized again, because that's what would happen. I would be aware of, you know, I'd be in the house here doing something, and then I would just dematerialize again. It just, you know, everything would just dissolve again into the matrix, and I would just be a thought. And one of the things I was saying was, you're still you during the whole time, during the whole trip. You're still you. You know, just as conscious, as coherent as I am right now, you know, talking to you, and as you are watching this video. You know, the Buddhists and anyone who meditates on a daily basis, every day, and I do, I meditate every day, they talk about the witness, the silent witness, the witnesser of the thoughts. And that's exactly what it is. That's what that means, is the witnesser of the thoughts, the witnesser of everything. That part of you doesn't change, and you're witnessing this state of being that is just beyond what your mind was designed to be able to handle in this life, and it's just so out of control, and it's just, you know, like that. But that's what that is, and it's like, you know, it's cool, it's pretty amazing on that level. But so you know, it's kind of blows, because a lot of the stuff I said once already, and I hate repeating myself, you know. But so that was that. I wouldn't call it a bad trip. It was just so intense. Now, yesterday, after I got back from this trip, I was like, I'm never fucking doing this again. I'm never going that deep again. I'm never taking DMT again. I'm never taking high dose of mushrooms again. I'm never going to do anything again. Yeah. But it's already been, I'm already sort of relaxing that viewpoint, because, you know, because it's like, well, you know, it does serve a purpose, and it does teach you a lot. It's hard, though. It's hard. It is. And if you're not in, you know, whatever is going on in your mind, in your headspace, whatever it is, it just amplifies to this, like, the magnitude of just whatever it is, any negative thoughts, any negative fears, anything. It's like, it's a place of instant manifestation. Like, whatever you think about comes into being instantly. There is no lag like there is in this physical reality, where it takes time for things to happen, you know. There it doesn't. It's instant. And then as soon as you think about somebody, like any interaction that you have with them, as soon as you think about them, you start not only thinking about every, like, nuance of the interaction that you've ever had with them, but you also realize that you are them. And this is where it gets fucking nuts. It's like you are that person, and they are you, and you are everybody else too. And it's just like everybody else is you in just a different manifestation. It's like we are all ultimately derived from the same consciousness. We are just fragmented into our separate existence in our lives in these manifestations, and that's what they mean when, again, going back to the Buddhists and meditators and stuff, where they say we are all one. Yeah, we are all one, and it's like now how deep do you go, and is that really true? All just one, or is it just groupings? Or you can start analyzing it like that, and then whatever it is, then things start getting crazy. Your mind, in its dissecting nature, wants to make sense of everything, and and that's exactly what the egoic mind is designed to do: is bring order to things and make sense of it, and it has to know everything. And that's one of the viewpoints. That's the atheist mind. I talk about that a lot. Materialist science and all that, which is a powerful tool, but they're sort of victims of that part of the mind that has to know everything, and not only has to know everything, but thinks it knows everything. And one of the things you learn really, really fast when you go into a deep psychedelic trip like this is you don't know shit. You don't know, and not only don't you know, you can't know that level. That's why I don't call it a bad trip. I mean, anyone listening to it would be like, "Oh my God, that was a bad trip." It was just too much for our minds in this reality to be able to fathom. Basically, is what it was. It was just so wild, and so crazy, and it's like, I remember at one point saying, life is so much simpler and easier when I was ignorant and didn't know anything. And it's like the more you learn, the more you realize that it's almost like you kind of wish you just didn't know anything. It's like I just kind of wish I was just a fucking drone, like everyone else is, and just live my life without even knowing anything, like an ignorant fool. You almost kind of wish that, Because when you start learning this shit, it's like, man, dude, it almost opens you up to like this understanding. It's like, really, I mean, it's like, yeah. But so that's really that. I mean, as far as like describing, like people want to know, like, what did I see? What do you see? I mean, what the fuck did they see? Whatever. I mean, it's almost impossible to describe that because you're here. I was here. And I mean, I'm looking around the room. I can see everything that's here, like the computer, the camera, the bed, the books. Oh, one point I wanted to note though, real quick. This is the one difference between DMT and mushrooms that I've noticed. You see my bookshelf here? I got a lot of books. Even in the worst of it, or the most intense of it yesterday, I could look at the books, right, and still read the words. Like, I could read the words, the titles of the books. But that time when I snorted the DMT and was engaged for like over an hour, there would be moments when I would look at, like, I remember at one point looking at the bookshelf and I couldn't read anything. It was just complete fucking gibberish. Really, I mean, literally, it was like some foreign language that I don't know. It was like looking at Chinese if you don't speak Chinese. That's what it was like. It was just like, I was looking at it, I was like, what the fuck? It was just, no, it wasn't even like, it was just like this alien language written on the books, and it was just like, what the fuck is that? It was impossible to read. It was just, that's the difference. That's the biggest difference between mushrooms and DMT so far that I've noticed, because a lot of people say DMT is this wild, fucking insanity, crazy shit, and it is. But that's not to say that mushrooms aren't equally fucking equally intense, because mushrooms are just as fucking insane as anything. I mean, a lot of ways worse, really. I mean, really, in a lot of ways, mushrooms are worse if you take a high dose like that. Mushrooms don't take a back seat to anything. Mushrooms don't take second place to DMT. It's just different, and it's equally crazy and equally maddening. And that's what this was. It was just, oh my God. So, I mean, and one last final point before I wrap this video up. taking the deep doses like this, you know, if you listen to Terrence McKenna, you know, he'll tell you that, oh, you got to take 5 grams all the time or whatever it is, and this and that, and that's the way you do it. Don't listen to him. You know, use him as a guideline, but don't think what he says is absolute, because it isn't. I mean, you want to take, every now and then, you're going to want to take a lower dose, like a 3-gram trip or a 3.5-gram trip, because those are the really beautiful trips. Those are the ones where you have a wonderful time, you're still coherent of this world, you can make sense of it, you're not out of your mind, you're not dissolved into the matrix, you're not, you know, you're still you, you're still in your house, you're still where you are, you just have this wonderful experience and you feel good. It's like so that's where the real beautiful trips are. These deep dose, heroic doses, man, they're only for the brave. They're only for the, like, either the sick or super adventurous or the stupid or whatever it is. But I mean, those deep doses aren't for everybody, because they're scary. They're scary. It is. They are. You know, but don't feel like you have to take a high dose all the time, and that's the rarity. I think that's the exception to the rule. I think the rule would be to take the moderate dose of the 3 grams, the most, and every now and then jump off the deep end, just to sort of give yourself a reality check, you know, gut check, you know. That's just my 2 cents on that. But so that's that. Thank you.